gentlemen, and welcome to A&M Career Consulting Under the Microscope. My name is Marcus Benjamin. I'm your host. I'm also the founder of A&M Career Consulting. And today I have a special guest and a longtime friend across the Atlantic. We're going to go back to the island of Trinidad and Tobago, my homeland. I had one guest before that was from Trinidad. That was Krista Privat. And, I just found a need to revisit the island and showcase someone who's doing great things in the community and did great things for himself as far as a career is concerned. We will be looking at the topic for today is using sport to create a career. And I have, as I mentioned, longtime friend. We actually played on the workout for the national team back in what, the 90s, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell my age too much, but
Yeah.
I'm still young. So, all right. But I have Adrian Joseph. Welcome to Under the Microscope. We're going to take probably about 30 minutes of your time and put your career, put you under that special lens and get to know who you are, what you're doing, and so forth. Welcome to Under the Microscope, Adrian.
Good morning, Marcus. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So as I mentioned, Adrian is actually on the island of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where he resides. And he's doing some great things down there, which he's going to share with us throughout this episode of Under the Microscope. So Adrian, I know, who you are. We battled together years back in the beginnings, and we eventually branch out into different careers and so forth. But the one thing that always held us together is being able to use basketball to create, or use sports, as a matter of fact, to create a career path for ourselves. So I think it's important that individuals who don't know who Adrian Joseph is, I think it would be a great opportunity for you to share with our viewers, who you are as a person, and then we go from there. So,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Well, as you already know, my name is Adrian Joseph. I started here in Trinidad, small island of Trinidad, from Laramie, San Fernando, which is South Trinidad. And I started off just playing basketball for fun. I enjoyed the sport. And then I started playing for a club within the area under a guy by the name of Earl Skeet. And the team was Jet Stars basketball team. Now, I wasn't that good. I just loved the sport. So, I chased it. I continued working with it, having fun. And I mean, it took me places. We had an opportunity for some scouts that came from the United States, and they saw me play. They were pretty impressed. And they was like, keep working on your game. And because I was playing with some older guys, so, they was like, keep working on your game. And when they heard how old I was actually 13 going on 14 years old.
Wow.
And most of the guys were like 17 and 18. So that kind of stole the show for me, being able to play with these guys. I was athletic, so it kind of helped me. And then, within school basketball, I went to St. Benedict's College. And we won all this South Zone. And then, going to play in Port of Spain against the top teams up there, actually dominated. And there was a coach by the name of Lenny Guy, and another coach named Pompey. I forgot Pompey's full name. And they had a traveling team that went to Philadelphia. And I went to Philadelphia with them. And that's when everything started. Coaches abroad saw me. They knew I was pretty young. And when I came back home, they sent back for me. And that's when my career started in high school. I went to Marianapolis Prep School in Connecticut. That's a small prep school. And we actually won the championship for the first time in the school history.
Oh, wow.
I also got, the MVP honors during that year. And within that, it provided better schooling situations. And then I transferred to Bergen Catholic in New Jersey, sorry. I played there for 2 years, and we also won a championship there for the first time in school history again. Yeah, so it was all about championships, and we won it. The school, put the school on the map, and then a better opportunity presented itself, which was Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, and I played there. There was a high-profile program, top schools. I played against some of the guys that got drafted, such as Kevin Durant and Doral Wright, and those guys were part of that league. A lot of high Division I players played in that league, and we did pretty well in that league. I think we lost in probably the semifinals or the quarterfinals in the playoff. But I had a good year. I had a lot of scholarship opportunities from a lot of the Division One schools, and I chose Virginia. I felt comfortable going to Virginia, and I had pretty much a successful career there. I finished 10th on the scoring list in terms of 3-point shots made, and I was also the team's co-captain, along with another guy named Sean Singletary, who ended up getting he was drafted in the NBA, and other guys that went to play overseas as well. So I then pursued a career, but prior to that, I had obtained a bachelor's degree in anthropology, and I was grateful for knowing where I came from to go to a top university and get my bachelor's degree, which is was very important to me and my family. And then I pursued a career professionally in Europe. I had an issue with my NBA workouts. There was some miscommunication. I missed my NBA workouts with Washington Wizards, New Jersey Nets, and New York Knicks. So I didn't want to waste any time and loss on the opportunities that I had available in Europe. So I took up the opportunity and I ended up going there and play. I spent a few years in Spain. I played Portugal. I played Qatar. I played Mexico. I played a few places in the Caribbean, and then eventually I came back home and I played with all the different leagues they had here. And one of my main goals and main focus was to really provide an opportunity for the kids, just as the one that was presented to me. So I'm trying my best right now to go into that full time and just give back to the community, provide that opportunity, like I said, and use all the networking that I have to pave a way for these kids' future in basketball or sport or academics. Sorry.
Nice. I mean, that's a
So
very.
in a nutshell, I think that sums up.
No, I was gonna say that's an impressive resume. Knowing where the beginning was. Pretty much playing and just playing because you love the game. And as you and I know, growing up in Trinidad, we didn't have that sound fundamental of the game. It's just the ability to be athletic and to run, jump, and just picking up things as we go. But it's just a blessing, to be able to be placed in that situation and to be able to attain success, right? And we all know it's never easy,
Of
right?
course.
Never easy.
Yes.
So one of the questions I have for you, right? So leaving Trinidad, coming to the US, and this is probably for a lot of young kids who probably might be watching this across the Caribbean or across the world, right? Or even here in the US, who might be living in one state and having to go. But we all know how huge and massive the United States is, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So having to leave home and the comfort of having parents there and in your comfort zone, and now branching out into an environment that is totally different, right? And you don't have that mom or dad to really kind of lean on except through a phone call, but it's totally different. How you dealt with that over during your time here in the US, from prep school all the way up to Virginia?
Well, a lot of people use the term shell shock. And I looked at it in that way, meaning that every experience was a new experience to me.
Right.
The language, I mean, we speak English as well, but, there's, a different accent. So it was, difficult for them to understand me, as well as, the culture, the weather, the snow was ridiculous. It was something to adjust to.
Right.
And, just, it came like you just had to grow up immediately. You had to do everything on your own. You had to wash your clothes. You had to do whatever you needed. You had to cook if you had the opportunity to. You had to do everything on your own.
Right.
So it was a drastic change for me at the age of 15. And it's like I said before, the love for the sport had me going. All I was focused on was just being able to go to the gym, work on my game, be the best I could be. And I was so excited. All I was thinking about was playing in the NBA or playing professionally. And that kind of helped channel all the obstacles that I may have had to deal with. And like I said, it wasn't an easy road. It was an adjustment. But every time something hard came along in terms of any obstacles, I always looked at going to the gym and working out, and that provided a comfort zone for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. When I look back, coming up to the United States, through basketball as well. I came with a traveling team and we went to Providence, and I was playing with some kids who were pretty much from like Texas and all different parts of the US. And that was actually the first time I actually saw so many people who don't look like you and myself.
Yeah.
All right. And with the accent, definitely, as they call it, fresh off the plane.
Yeah.
But I arrived, and like 2 days after, I took a bus up to Boston, and then my contact met me there, and then we went down to Providence and was right into basketball. And you meet these kids and you're having conversation, and this is so funny, and I still tell the joke, so they hear the accent and they're like, "Where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Trinidad in the Caribbean." No, I said from Trinidad. It was like, "Where is that?" I said in the Caribbean. It was like, "Oh, is that part of Jamaica?"
Yeah, always.
And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm like, no. And I pretty much got a map, and I pointed. I say, "See where it is? It's right down in the bottom, close to Venezuela, last island in the sea. Last island."
Yeah.
So that was a funny thing. So I had to deal with that also. So I definitely understand, having to go through that ordeal. But you know what? You learn, just as they learn. Probably never been exposed to someone from the Caribbean, because here in the US, as you know, is so vast and big that have some people living in some places probably never met someone from the Caribbean and never hear that kind of accent.
True.
So at Virginia, in terms of your success there, like, can you highlight like some of, like, probably one or two of your huge success you had there at the university, and then also can you highlight at least like one of the challenge that you face and how you were able to work through it?
Okay. So some of the successes that I would have had at Virginia was, it started off, my freshman year, just being able to. A lot of freshmen at the high level basketball are not able to receive a lot of minutes as a rookie. I was able to play. I started a lot of games. And one of my biggest games was against Wake Forest, where I scored 19 points and I received Rookie of the Week. And that was against Chris Paul. I was in awe playing against Chris Paul, because I still look back at it and know who Chris Paul is today, and, playing against him, competing against these guys. And, it was fun for me. And another success was at the end of my 4-year career, where I was 7th all time three-point shoot shots made at the university. So I was basically in the top 10. Now I know that would change eventually, because, there are a lot of players coming in that would, pass your scoring record and that kind of stuff. But coming from the Caribbean, that was a huge success for me, being in the history books. And that same year, my junior year, we also won the ACC regular season champions. Top in Duke and the North Carolinas and those high caliber schools. So that was a huge success point for me. And some of the challenges would be, just the adversity. Sometimes, you're losing games. Like I say, I wouldn't talk about much about the social aspect of it, because I always use basketball as my channeling energy to take me away from any negativity within, any avenues of my life. So I know there was incidents here you'd face, like you said, there's a lot of white people that live within Virginia. We were faced with some of, the racism and that kind of stuff, And I mean, we expected that it exists. That's
Right.
part of life. And we didn't let it phase us. And we were just focused on, playing basketball and, being the best person that we could be, and as well as a team. So the downs, I would say, were not as much bad for me, or any experience where I could say that they were highlighted. I had fun. My 4 years at Virginia, I had a lot of fun. A lot of friends. I made a lot of connects. Still connected with a lot of those guys. And I wouldn't turn it back for anything. I enjoyed my 4 years. I had a lot of fun playing basketball. I accomplished a lot. And I met a lot of great people, great coaches, I should say. And that, in a nutshell, sums it up for me.
All right. That sounds good. I mean, being able to be on that history card for the university is huge.
Yes.
And you did mention something about that racism aspect of it. We still have a lot of ignorant people. When I say ignorant, is not knowing, right?
Yeah.
Not knowing factor, and it still exists up to today. You have athletes across the world, in Europe, that being in who playing Premiership soccer, still being still having to face that level of, 2021, and it's still, you would think that has subsided, right? But it continues to lose its ugly head, just because of people being ignorant to the fact that at the end of the day, we are just one race. And that's the human race, right? We have different shades, different colors, different whatever the small differences. It doesn't equate to the fact that we're still one human race, right? So hopefully, individuals hearing this really kind of think about, and do that self check and really seek information to better themselves and to change their perspective on life. All right. So I was able to pull up, I wanted to share a video with all of our viewers, highlighting your success at UVA, right? Is UVA? What is the
UVA, yes.
UVA. So
yeah.
And I'm just going to make a disclaimer. This video does not belong to A&M Career Consulting. It's right, and it's available for everybody to look at. And I just wanted to be able to share it.
wisdom you must have, yeah. Try to seek them out, liberate yourself and live, yeah. Thank the Father that you're born and still alive. Thank Him. If you feel me, ladies, hold it tight to rise. If you know you're smart and you're sexy, never let them abuse your body. Show it off, y'all, and let the world see. Roll it, yeah. Mr. Marshall, say.
When you look back at, just looking at this video, what comes to mind, man, when you look back and you see kind of work that you did? What comes to mind?
Looking at it, even now, it's just, the joy, just the memories are just all the hard work that you put in from day one.
Right.
Just being able to showcase it in front of, all the schoolmates, the fans, everybody, just being able to just be on the stage and, showcase hard work.
Yeah. I mean, it was really impressive, looking at it. It brought about a really proud moment,
Yeah.
For me, knowing that where we came from, the humble beginnings, and to see you on that stage, that's commanding the space. Like who would have ever thought, right? Who would have,
Exactly.
and doing this is huge. I think with this podcast is just highlighting to kids that you can achieve anything that you want, but you gotta work hard. You gotta associate yourself with the right people. You gotta position yourself in the right places, right? And one of the things is, I mean, from ever since I knew you way back in the mid '90s, somewhere there. I'm not trying not to tell people too much my age, but he was always a quiet guy as I knew you. When we worked out, you kept to yourself a lot, very respectable and everything. And I think that just transcended right into you coming to the US and playing at UVA. It just goes to show, that you don't have to be, that person that is all about the high. You let your work speak for itself.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So that was some good stuff. Good video. Good highlights. I like how they incorporated a little bit of the soca music, so that was really cool. All right. So after finishing at the university and everything, playing overseas, you returned back to Trinidad, and I'm fully aware that you started your own clinic. If you could tell us what that is about, how it came about, the name of it, so in that way our viewers will know, and we go from there.
Yeah, well, I was always passionate about coming home and giving back to the kids or my country, and it's just the timing in terms of when I was going to do it, and upon coming back home, I started doing little sessions, small sessions, just calling kids, hey, I'm going to the gym, come with me, I'm gonna show you some stuff. And eventually I started, go diving deeper into it. And I say, what? I could actually start registering my club and getting everything going the way I would want it to be, taking it step by step. I wasn't sure if I was going to still be traveling because I was still given the opportunity to travel, small gigs here and there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go into this even more on full time because it's what I want to do.
Right.
You know, I registered the business. I had it as Adrian Joseph at first, sports basketball academy. Then I changed it. And I switched it to advanced genetics. And just for the fact that I wanted to target all the kids in all different avenues versus just basketball. I said eventually we would get people on board that would contribute in different sports that would assist the kids. And it was piloted by basketball. I started focusing deeper. I registered the club and I started to reach out to different kids about the club. And slowly but surely the club started growing. More kids started coming on board. And you know, I sit and I talk to them and I explain what I bring to the table, where I played, and you know, a lot of the parents and stuff buy into it because they kind of respected my background and where I came from. I came just from where these kids are starting today, and they look at where I reached. Like you mentioned, humble beginnings, and I started to dive even deeper into it and started to focus a lot more on the connection which I had abroad, coaches, scouts, players at many different levels to try and create an opportunity for these kids to have the same opportunity that I did. So what I would do, I would try to take these kids doing training sessions, one-on-one sessions, and send it to different coaches and scouts so they could have an opportunity to view these kids and hopefully, you know, they get that opportunity to go abroad and start off just where I started and, you know, pursue a career in sports and, you know, using it as a tool to, you know, get from point A to point B in life, achieving academics as well. So I'm very passionate about it at this point in time, and it's something that I want to go into full time if, you know, other opportunities present itself for me.
All right, great. So that's one more time. What's the name of your club?
Advanced Genetics Sports and Cultural Club.
All right, y'all heard it directly from the man. All right. As far as the, you know, with the club and the successes, I know it's in its infancy stage, right? And you're working to create that connection and to get it to a place where it will be recognized, especially in the Caribbean, as a high profile basketball club that, you know, or sports club that kids can come and have a sanctuary, if I can call it that, you know, away from whatever social issues or economic issues that's going on. At least they have a place to come and play sports and be a part of something special, right? And knowing what you have achieved, you know, that make it even better because now they have a positive role model that they can look at. All right. So I wish you the best in that. And as I promised when we spoke, you know, I'll do everything on my end, you know, to assist because I believe that it is something great that's needed, given the scope of basketball in Trinidad and Tobago. It should be further than where it is now.
Yes.
You know, it's very unfortunate that it's not. And I know with your drive, your mission, your experience, your network that you have, you'll be able to be successful. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to a very, very important question. And I think kids need to really understand this because they always look at, the ball and the highlights and the showcase and they know about all of these things. But the one thing that when I played in college as well, my coach, everybody, the coaching, the assistant coach, the whole staff, the one thing that they really, I would say, got in our heads is that you're a student athlete, right? So that leads me to that question. How important education is being a student athlete? Because I think the kids really need to hear this. It's not only about the ball or the sport or the highlights and all that stuff. How important you from your perspective is that attaining a good solid education?
I think it's one of the backbone of your foundation in terms of where you need to go. And I have a very certified staff with me as well, and they are utmostly, they put everything aside to help me and assist me, and I can't be more grateful for that. And when I talk to them, I highly stress on academics. Every time we have meetings, I stress on the importance of these kids understanding the importance of schoolwork. And it goes to show that, all right, when we go abroad to play, we have to maintain, you, as you know, maintain a certain grade in order to play. Those are the rules. And at the same time, you can't miss a basketball practice because you are received your scholarship or your opportunity to play at school because of basketball. So what I try to stress on down here is you have an exam coming up. That doesn't mean you have to put the basketball down. It just means that you need to balance both, find time management, be able to spend a few hours in the books, as well as spend a few hours practicing your craft, because it's your craft that's going to get you where you want to go. So I highly stress on it. I try to explain to them the situation that I went through, how you have to deal with it. I try to provide as best of an explanation for them to understand that these are the necessary steps required in order to balance both academics and athletics. And I think some of them get it. Some are still transitioning into understanding it. But I pretty much stress on it is very important, the most important thing as a student athlete.
Thank you for sharing that. Please, I hope all the young boys and girls who might be looking at this really hear it. I can honestly, from my experience also, agree with Adrian 100%. Yes, the basketball is great, the environment is great. You feel like you're on top of the world. But at the end of the day, you have to have a good, solid education,
Yes.
right? And I always use a saying from my mentor, and also who was the president of the college that I went to. He said, "Let basketball be the vehicle to your transformation."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Use the ball. Don't let the ball use you.
True.
Right? And I think a lot of people let the ball use them, and then they lost themselves. And then at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they have nothing to show for it.
True.
Right? And we all know, yes, the NBA is one of the highest platform that every single person who played the game on whatever level aspire to reach. But not everybody make it. Right? But I think one of the things that is bigger is being able to one, get an education, a good solid college education, and the next one is to be able to build a solid network with people and maintain those relationships, because those relationships are lifelong. Playing the game, at a certain point, you got to hang up the sneakers.
Of course, yes.
As much as the mind may want to do it, the body not going to agree. So there's a big discrepancy that happens when you reach a stage, right? And and just being around the game and just using the game to create a career, or sports in itself to create a career. And here you are using sports to create a career, and one that will satisfy your that desire to give back to the community, right? And to be a blessing unto somebody else, right? Just as somebody else was a blessing to you. I mean, itself is selfless, and with that approach, will definitely take your club to higher heights. And it's just really humbling, to be able. I know we haven't connected for years, but as they say, a friendship is something that it can have gaps in between, but whenever those two individuals meet, or those individual parties meet, it felt like you didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of strong relationship that that I think you and I could attest to. And these kids, they have to learn this. It's about developing relationships, because you never know where down the line where you might be able to lean on somebody that you had a good relationship with, and that person might be able to help you get to the next level. Right? It's all about getting that done. So where do you see advanced genetics in the next 5 years?
Okay, advanced genetics. Now, I know some people say the sky is the limit. No, I want to aim for the universe. So if I fall short, I still fall in the sky. So what I'm trying to do. Yeah, so if I fall, I mean, I'm not thinking about nothing negative, but my goal is, as I mentioned before, there's a facility called 360 Basketball in the United States, where they have their gym, where they have stations, practicing your ball handling, working on your shooting, doing your strength and conditioning, and then you're playing games as well to compete. And my goal is for advanced genetics to have our own facility. Work on that, where we could have access as long as we want, as much as we want, practicing our craft, practicing our skill, and just preparing players for the next level. We want to implement a classroom program as well, where kids could come and we micromanage and help them with their schoolwork as well. So 5 years from now, I would like to say we already started, and would like to try our best to have that long-term goal at some point being worked on, and just basically creating more opportunities, making that door wider for the kids to have and see those incentives available. And not only think that NBA, if you don't reach NBA, it's all over, but let them know, there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's, your degree, there's your high school opportunity, there's job opportunities, and, personally, the holistic development of these individuals. So, we just want from now, we should be in a much better position where we could say advanced genetics is in maybe first, second, whatever phase, in obtaining their own facility to help provide these opportunities.
Thanks for sharing. So for my viewers or whoever is looking at this video, who hearing your story, right, and feeling that passion to give back, how can these individuals make contact with you?
Well, they can go to our Facebook page, Advanced Genetics Sports and Cultural Club, and all the information is provided on there, where you could contact me personally via WhatsApp, via Messenger, however you choose to connect, but all the information is out there.
All right. And do you have like an email that they can send you like directly?
Yes, we have our email address is advancedgenetics868@gmail.com.
All right. Can you repeat it one more time so my viewers can hear?
advancedgenetics868@gmail.com.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a great pleasure spending some time with Adrian Joseph on the island of Trinidad and Tobago, who's doing some great things with basketball and use the sport, to create a career, one that is definitely strong, one that I'm excited to see grow and to blossom in the very near future. He has used basketball as his vehicle to transformation and being a productive citizen on the island of Trinidad and Tobago, really giving back to his community. Please, if you can, reach out, support him. I definitely will be supporting him. Just waiting for the borders to open up due to COVID, so we can look to see how we could partner up and do something special with his club. Again, you can reach Adrian. If you could repeat it one more time.
advancedgenetics868@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this episode of Under the Microscope. I'm your host, Marcus Benjamin. We offer career consulting. If you need help with your resume, if you need help with mock interviews, preparing a 30, 60, 90-day action plan, or if you need help with your LinkedIn profile. Anything concerning career, you can reach us. You can send us an email at info@amcareerconsulting.org. You can also visit my website or our website at amcareerconsulting.org. This brings us to the end. Adrian, it was really a pleasure. It's good reconnecting with you again. We will never let that light dim again. It didn't burn out, but it dimmed for years.
Yeah.
Right? And take care of yourself, man. I love you as a brother. Love the work that you're doing down there. And can't wait to actually meet you in person again and partner up and go back a couple years back and, you know, bring that energy forward to at least let these kids see that there are individuals who look like themselves and probably the same situation who actually was able to attain success.
Yeah, true. I genuinely and humbly appreciate the opportunity for you having me on here. Love you as a brother too, and I can't wait for us to reconnect and, you know, get the ball rolling even bigger.
Yeah, we'll get the ball rolling. I don't know if I could reach that 10-foot ring anymore, but we'll see about that. But you have a blessed day. Our viewers,
thank you.
You're welcome, Adrian. My viewers, please continue to be safe, take care of yourself, and look forward to our next episode of Under the Microscope. Have a great day, and thank you.